You may have already begun to notice how some of the most powerful changes happen subtly beneath awareness, like the way a seed grows before it even breaks the surface. And just as easily, you can remember now, or maybe later, that every genius was once a beginner who simply believed just enough to start. Because somewhere, right now, your mind is scanning for the connections it already knows how to make. And isn't it fascinating how once you see a pattern, you can't unsee it? Let me tell you a story about a boy who didn't know he was a genius. He was curious, always asking questions. Why? What if? How come? And every time someone said, you can't, he heard, you just haven't yet. He wasn't the smartest in the room at first, but he was the one who stayed curious, who kept learning, who saw every problem not as a wall, but as a doorway wearing a disguise. Each no he turned into know-how. Each failure became feedback, and the more he explored, the more the world unfolded in his favour. Just like you're beginning to unfold now. Because when you hold the belief that growth is inevitable, then every moment becomes momentum, every delay becomes data, every emotion becomes energy. You're not just learning this, you are this. You breathe in curiosity and exhale resilience. You inhale feedback and exhale mastery. Let's play with something here. What happens when you imagine yourself as someone who's always growing? Not sometimes, not when it's easy, always. And what happens when you feel that reality as if it's already true? Because it is. That version of you who already lives this way is closer than you think. You can hear their voice echoing somewhere in your mind, can't you? Whispering things like, you're enough. You're becoming more every day. You're free to learn, to rise, to risk. And the more you hear that voice, the more it becomes your voice until it's automatic, effortless, integrated. Let's go deeper. Imagine a painter who never learned the rules of art. He simply painted what he felt. At first, people thought he was strange. Then they started to say, that's brilliant. Because he didn't fear being wrong. He loved discovering what was right by exploring what wasn't. He didn't ask permission to be bold. He simply was. And as you hear that, something inside begins to remember that your permission slip to be extraordinary has already been signed by you. A woman once asked a mentor, how do I become magnetic to opportunities? He smiled and replied, become the kind of energy that you want to attract. If you radiate passion, guess what follows? If you radiate gratitude, what appears more often? Because the universe is always listening. And the message it hears most clearly is the vibration behind your attention. So she stopped chasing and started becoming, and soon she wasn't looking for opportunities. They were looking for her. Just like they're already beginning to find you. Isn't it interesting how Edison failed 10,000 times and still believed in light? How Einstein questioned reality itself to discover new laws. How Da Vinci explored every field, not because he had to, because he couldn't not. What if genius was never about knowing, but about exploring with obsession? What if the common thread between the world's most successful people wasn't IQ, background or luck, but the willingness to think differently, feel deeply and act boldly? And doesn't it feel just a little more possible now? Because right now, your unconscious mind is creating new neural highways, new perceptual filters, new beliefs that quietly whisper. Every challenge is growth in disguise. I don't fear failure, I recycle it. Learning is who I am. I trust myself to adapt, evolve, succeed. My energy influences everything. The universe rewards my boldness. It's not that failure exists, it's that feedback refines your genius. If problems exist, it only means the solutions do too, already hidden inside. You don't need motivation to act. Action creates the motivation. Some people want to feel confident, but you know the truth. Confidence is built by acting before you're ready. They say the present is a gift, and the more you live in it, the more you realize happiness was never out there anyway. You're already integrating this now, and maybe you won't realize until days or weeks from now just how deeply this new belief system has taken root. But isn't it fun to notice? You don't have to force it. The mind learns best when it plays. The soul grows best when it's curious. And the person you're becoming is the person who already believes all this, without even trying. And the best part, you didn't have to learn it. You just had to remember it, because it was always you.